Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of the Just Us Review, where we like to take our favorite shows, whether they be superhero, supernatural, whatever it may be, break them down and give you guys that nit and that grit. You know, when we like it, we love it. When we hate it, you're going to hear about it. And today in particular, we have a special one for you. I know you guys already seen the first installment that we've done with the Umbrella Academy. Well, guess what?
Round two, baby.
It's starting to rain again. It's time to bring the umbrella back out.
I gotta say something real bad.
But before we get to that,
Last time we did this, I said I would never watch this again.
And here we are.
so let me set the stage. Right now, for the past season, the crew has all gone back in the past. And right now, the whole plot is trying to get back to the future. And I will say this much. They better thank God that the actor of number 5 exists. Because if it wasn't for him, this whole thing would have imploded on itself.
Stop lying. Stop lying.
They need to commune.
Stop lying.
Wait a second.
Get his dick out your mouth. Stop lying.
Let me commune. No, they need to commune at his trailer. And thank God he exists. Because if it wasn't for him, this shit wouldn't have been palatable. Number 5 saved this season. And him alone do you pray to.
You are a liar.
Okay.
Before we start ripping it apart, let's go to the goods. Well, before we get into where we want to go to the floor and destroy this, let's talk about some happier times, some good times. What are some good parts about this season?
You want to start?
I will say this before anybody jump up or anything. Some characters improved slightly. Some. Not all of them. Some of them.
Like who?
Okay. Diego.
I'm sorry.
If you sniggling.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I have to agree with him.
Diego is an example.
He said slightly.
Luther?
No, it's his opinion.
All right.
It's his opinion. Okay, here's the deal. Let me say, it's his opinion, but you also have to describe how. Okay.
So do you want me to? I thought we were going down the line with all of them.
Well, we'll start with who you said first. So we'll say Diego. How was Diego good to you?
So
How did he improve?
How did he improve to you?
Slightly.
Okay, that's cool.
So in the first season, every time Diego said something, it was always with the "you want to fight, bitch." Like he could never approach, and he was very super hostile to pretty much everybody,
So
but specifically Vanya.
Including Vanya.
Yeah.
Season 2, he was more mellow. He actually could have a couple of fucking conversations with Luther, and they not slap the shit out of each other.
He was actually trying to actually have a connection with the rest of them.
Exactly.
Like there was a moment where Vanya put her head on his shoulder.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's something.
I think he needed the whole love interest plot to
kind of tone him down.
Exactly.
Okay.
because he was fucking obnoxious.
He was obnoxious.
Well, okay, but you guys knew. Okay, that's cool.
So I said Luther too. Now let me explain, because you don't turn your face up at me. Let me explain.
Okay.
This is gonna be the
There was a time where Luther actually admitted, I fucked up. I was too privileged. Maybe motherfuckers shouldn't listen to me. I will end it right there because there are problems with Luther.
But we'll get to that later. Okay, but my good. The young Indian woman. What was her name?
Her name was
in the show or the.
In the show.
crap.
I
I just keep calling her the handler's daughter.
I want to get into one of my favorite installments into this. I mean, although I miss Mary J. Blige, I think Lila was a great addition to the story. First of all,
this is his opinion.
It's my opinion. I thought that she was the one who sedated Diego to a point to make him kind of calm down from the last season. I like the twist with her story. And like at the end, when we find out who she really is, I thought that was a great addition to the story. And she put them in their place when she was fighting them. I was like, every last one of them need an ass whooping, except number 5. Every last one of them need an ass whooping. and she gave them what they was asking for. And her whole storyline about how she was discovered and stuff. So I thought that was an interesting point to put in there.
I'm going to piggyback off of that and say that I love the handler this season. I love that she had more time to shine, and her character, the actress didn't overdo the evil villain thing. Like, it was just enough.
And that's another thing, like villains with depth. So
Like, I wouldn't even say it was depth. Like, she just had a goal, and she just wanted to accomplish her goal.
Right.
Like, she didn't want to do anything more, nothing less. She wasn't trying to take over the world. She was just like, I want to be the head of the Time Bureau.
Commission.
Yeah, whatever.
They took
And-
merger. That was her.
And it was also the thing about that we get a lot of, the villains, they have a redeeming quality. No,
No.
she doesn't. She's a bad guy. She's gonna stay a bad guy. She just
I'm an asshole. I'm only here to push out poop. That is
stop
her only
expecting
job.
more from me. This is what I do.
If you expect the P to come out there, you're in the wrong hole. So the next
Anatomy Academy.
the next good that we have from this. Anybody got another good?
Another.
Oh, sorry. One more good another good that I have is the father. I thought the father was brilliant. in it.
Hargreaves?
Oh yes,
Reginald.
because
Oh, so last review, he was an abuser. You like Hargreaves?
No. Call the bruiser by its name.
But the reason why I liked him, because they came to corner him and they was like, we're going to tell you about you, daddy. And he was like, y'all all grown ass people bitching at me. He was like, y'all all have power. Why don't y'all go fucking do something?
Exactly.
And then that moment was priceless because all of them just shut the fuck up.
So there's a scene where it shows how Luther, after he came back, he went back to the house to try to confront his dad to, get some answers, maybe get some comfort. And his dad's just like that. I don't care. Like, I'm your son and I'm from the future. No, you're not. Get out my house.
And that was the whole beauty of it. He was like, even in that time, he was like, I'm living my life. You guys are trying to pull on these heartstrings that you guys knew I didn't have in the first place. So you guys should have known better.
Like I didn't even have them when I had y'all.
When I
So
raised you.
in this season, I feel like they gave Hargreaves more character per se.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can see that he's just a purely logical being,
Yes.
like nothing else, just purely logical,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what he functions off of.
My
Even down to the point where he murks the Shadow Society.
Mhm.
Because at first I thought he was just being vindictive, like, oh, you threatened me, like you don't know who I am.
Takes off the mask.
But does he just really care about logic? Because he
No, because sorry to cut you.
Cause he was hooked up with homegirl and
I mean,
No, he did.
He-
It
they
shows
were
that
together.
he did love her,
yeah,
but
as much as he could. It's
in
like the
his
there was
own
feeling
way.
there.
it's like the Big Bang Theory.
Even when you
Everything.
when you go to the fact that he thought, I'm gonna model their mother after this woman that I have been
after
before.
12 attempts.
Those were real women though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, so something happened with this woman, and he was like, fuck it, she's the only one that I know can do it.
So I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's all good. But it was also a logical decision behind that, behind creating that robot of that woman. So we don't know the full story of what happened between them after this.
I mean,
But-
was it a logical decision to make the robot have her face? Because that was just a face of someone who he was comfortable with.
Sure.
So that wasn't logical. That was just like, well, if I'm gonna make a robot, I'm gonna make it a robot of
I'm
someone
gonna-
I
I'm gonna
actually
make-
enjoyed being around.
I'm gonna say some scummy shit too.
I'm
Cause
What was he doing with the robot?
my friend.
I'm talking out.
What was he doing with the robot?
You gotta say it.
Cause the robot didn't even need to have a face, but he gave it her face.
No, it
so
didn't have a face.
Not really.
To be a mother to the children.
Their children, they could have, they adapted to some fucked up shit. They could have adapted a monkey.
But he knows.
Do
that-
you have monkeys in your house, raising your kids?
They could have put a cat head on there.
Exactly.
But the thing is, I I saw where they were going with that because kids need some sort of normalcy. Because when they go out into the world and they try to save kids with mothers, it's just like, that's not what a mom looks like. My mom doesn't look like that. So they needed to give it a face, somebody that would provide comfort. So it did need a face.
But on the other hand, where is the logic in that? Because it's like you going out and you say to someone
that was she just said what the logic was.
But I don't
the logic.
let me say something. I don't think there's logic in that because it's like that little kid needed me who can bust shit up to save his life. And no one else can knock buildings over and make people do what they want, what I want them to do, and throw knives in ridiculous ways like me. So normalcy is done for me.
But at the end of the day, they needed a mother figure. That's what he concluded.
And they needed a robot without a face.
Yes, you're saying that it didn't need a face because there's no logic in putting a face on it. And what I was saying is it wasn't about logic for that moment. It was about giving them something that was kind of normal because again they are still human children.
And I get that, but that wasn't for them. He fucked that robot.
Yeah, the face he chose.
That was not for them.
All right, so
The face he chose was for him. It could have been any face.
Here's my question. So he's an alien or something,
He's
or
an
something,
alien.
or something.
And
so
that to me is
So
bullshit.
I just want to get back to the.
Oh wait,
Well, you're getting into my bad territory. But,
I'm going to my goods right quick.
but I just want to finish off with the shadow board. It was that I thought that he killed them because they were trying his gangster. But at the end of the day, it was like, oh, you're trying to hold leverage over me, so I need to deal with this right now.
Speaking of the dad, one of my favorite moments is when he beat Diego's ass, and then when he met back Diego, he was like, "I still whooped your ass."
Like, you are 0 for 2. And Diego tried to jump up.
Other goods.
Another
I
thing.
think go.
Another thing that I liked was Klaus and Ben. No,
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say a word.
I'm going into my goods. I'm talking about the relationship they have with each other, and it's more Ben than Klaus for me because we don't.
Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We ain't saying nothing. Finish point.
It's more Ben because we find out that he can actually possess Klaus, and so he gets this, even though it was a small moment, he still got some joy, and he got to talk to the girl that he had a crush on, and he got to literally roll in the dirt, and that was just some happiness for him.
You're talking to them.
The joy and the experience that Ben got to have, and the fact that him and Klaus, that flashback to when Ben died and he didn't go to the light, and where we realized that Klaus had been blaming himself the entire time that Ben was still there, and then Ben tells Vanya after he basically saves the day because Vanya was flipping her shit that
Oh, Vanya was flipping her shit.
Must have been a Tuesday.
that he was just afraid, and so he was there by choice that entire time. And I did like that aspect of it where Klaus was no longer blaming himself on top of all the other stuff that he was also dealing with.
I will say this to back you up on that. I think out of everybody, Klaus was the most consistent across both seasons. And honestly, I kind of needed that familiarity. Is that how you say that word?
Yeah.
I needed that to stomach this season.
Another good that I have for this season is that it's over. And but seriously though, it was the ending when they come back home and then they run into the OG Academy crew and the new Academy crew. My boy Ben is like, "Who the fuck is this?" First of all, everybody strapped up. They was like, "Okay, yo, Dad, we need to take care of this." And I was like, "Yes. I need somebody to run in their shit." I don't know if y'all know. I believe everybody except them 5 need ass whooping on this cast.
He needs one too.
Yeah, he needed the most.
But
And okay, going back to a reason why number 5 was my favorite is because while all this bullshit was going on, he was the only person acting like.
Nope.
Oh,
I already know what you're gonna say, and that's a nope.
Hold on, let me finish. He was the only person acting like an adult. When he was like, yo, everybody, we need to get from this era because it's something that we do that causes Armageddon. He's like, everybody, let's get together, let's go. I need to go do X. I need to go do Y. I need to go do Z. Bitch, y'all are not from this time. And if the longer y'all stay here, the more y'all keep fucking up stuff. Let's roll.
Sure, that's a logical. That's what a logical character would do in that situation. That makes sense.
If he actually did that.
But let me tell you what I really liked about this show. I think that the set design and all the stuff and time period. Even though I don't really like period pieces and everything, I think it was well.
I think they might have messed up 1 or 2 times. I think I saw iPhone too.
But I believe that it was the 60s. Granted, they only used like 3 locations.
I don't know, man. I didn't quite
There was
believe
an
it.
alley.
I didn't believe it was the 60s. The ER didn't fly.
Okay, there was an alley. There was a bad side of town, and
That was the guy's house.
there was yeah.
Farm.
And there was a milkman.
Oh yeah, that was the milkman. Oh, the Swedes.
No.
Hell no. Let me get my
Go ahead and get the
You talking out a whole bunch of garbage.
Y'all didn't even let me finish the statement.
Okay, are we getting into the
We got
bad?
started.
I was gonna say the Swedes, but we're not.
His good and never doing the bad.
I was gonna say the Swedes, but we're not there yet. Okay, thank you,
Sure.
Jesus
Go ahead.
Christ.
Okay. The only real good that I can say was because I hated everybody's story. I'm not even gonna
I like Lila's story. So,
Who?
Lila.
Who was that?
No, I'm talking about the. I'm talking about the members of the Umbrella Academy, and I.
Hurry up, John. We need to get to this hate out.
The only story that I was actually invested in was Alice's. That was the only, and here's the thing, I didn't say like.
Invested.
I said invested because
I feel you.
and there's a reason why, because I got some hate that I gotta spew, and it involves her story. But that was the only one that I was like, what's gonna happen next with this?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got that bullshit out the way. Let's talk about the bad.
So, okay.
So last time we did it.
Can I finish this thing? Wait.
Because you like to be like Tom or Bear. I just want, because I need to get the first one out because it needs to be the smallest one before we elevate.
I have questions though.
You got it. Okay.
Now,
Wait.
about water.
Let me introduce. We're going to go through characters. Okay.
Do
We'll stop. We do by numbers.
We're going to do it by numbers. We'll do it by numbers. Okay. Now it's time for the bad.
Okay, hold on. If we're doing by numbers, then Hargreaves first.
No, it's number 1.
And then
Hargreaves
give
is
it to
last.
Luther, and then we'll go down the
So
line.
I'm gonna give out the first bad, and it's for the overall.
Go for it.
The production was fucking abysmal.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
fucking abysmal.
We counted.
First episode, I counted so many editing errors and just sloppy bullshit that I gotta wonder how did Netflix let this fucking go?
Give me an example.
Okay, so let's go to the bar when
Klaus
and what's his name went into the bar. If you pay attention to them in the bar and they're doing the shot by shot pan through or cutaways between him and the bartender, Klaus is in 8 different fucking positions. They did not use any consistent shots.
and it's really obvious, like when he's talking to the bartender, when the camera's on him.
When he first gets there, right?
Yeah, when the camera's on him, his hands are up because he's doing his Johnny Depp bullshit.
Yeah.
And then when the camera goes to the bartender, it's a side cut, and Klaus's arms are like this. Then it comes back to Klaus, and he's doing this shit again, and it keeps going, and it's like, wow. So Klaus fucked up the production.
Another example.
Because there's another cut. It's in the episode.
Episode 5, before they do their stupid fucking dance off.
Lord, give me
Jesus
straight.
Like I can't even give the example because it's couched within another bag.
I'll give the example. Klaus is talking, and in the middle of the conversation, there's a jump cut, and it is literally like they skipped time because they shot his conversation twice, and I don't know, the first time they must have lost footage. So they used the other one, and it's we thought the internet fucked up, and we thought Netflix had stopped for a minute, but we rewound it, and no, it's a blatant cut in the middle of a speech.
Let's go back to episode 1. The actor that plays Allison's husband, he's clearly he is clearly shorter than her.
Yeah.
You can see the size changes in between cutaways and scenes. Like they forget, like she's 6 feet tall and he's 3 feet tall. Let's put him on a box. But then when they do cutaways, like
They forgot the box.
and it's like,
Especially when they were inside the beauty supply store. They forgot all about that shit.
you can't fucking do that.
Back when they have a situation with the police, and then
Which one?
the one where the husband gets knocked down and is about to get beaten. How the husband's supposed to be taller, right? Why is the husband shorter than the police and Alice is the same height? Because you don't care. But you know what? Let's move on to the next bag. Who wants to go? Oh, you don't? Luther. So Luther literally
Get your monkey ass in here.
Luther literally went to the past to find a new daddy. That was the whole point.
Not his old daddy.
No. No, you see, his old daddy didn't want him no more.
Oh yeah, because he got hooked up with Al Capone.
So he needed a new daddy to look after him, because hey daddy, if you take care of me, I'll take care of you. I was like, if this ain't the laziest storyline I've ever seen.
So the only reason why I'll give a little pushback against that is because that motherfucker is half monkey. What was he gonna do?
Literally anything else. But
he can't do anything.
So you know
be
what?
a mechanic. he can work on a construction.
So here's the thing.
trash.
So he would be in that position had someone knew how to use their fucking power. but we'll get to that.
Okay.
I
Back to Luther right quick.
I think my biggest disappointment with Luther is he went from trash to nothing in this scene.
No, not just that.
He didn't do anything.
He literally had no plot.
Not just that, but when they're like, hey, we gotta save the world again, fuck it, I don't care. Because you're not number one? Because you're not daddy's favorite?
As he should have.
No, but literally he was like, oh, we did this already. I don't care anymore. So it's like, you traveled back in time.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Everything
Yeah,
up.
I don't blame him.
The world's gonna end in a friggin' week, and you're just like, I don't care. You know it's not supposed to be like that.
I don't blame him. He was stuck there for 3 years because his fucking brother couldn't get his shit
No,
together.
it was 2 years. Was it 2 or 3?
3.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
1961.
2? No, because it ended in 1963. That's 2 years.
I thought it was 64.
No.
Guess what? I don't
There
care.
wasn't a 63.
And my favorite sorry fuck you moment of Luther is when he finally finds Allison and come to find out she's back in time. And my thing which is we gonna get to Allison in a whole nother other chapter. But as soon as he runs Allison, first of all, he can't read the room or time period. It was the first thing he wants to do, like, hey, you are a white man approaching
A large white man.
approaching her and her husband on her property, asking this man where his wife
Well,
is.
first of all, she wasn't even there. He just walked up to the house, and her husband came out the car like, who the hell are you?
Oh, I'm here to see your wife. In 1963?
You didn't know that.
Right.
So here's the thing about that. If he was not so privileged, he would know the goings on of what happened in the 60s between.
So this is going to be my gripe, and I'm going to expound on this more when we get to Allison, actually.
Okay.
But
I think me and you got the
racism
same.
only exists when Allison's around.
Yes.
And also, as soon as he sees Vanya, he grabs a gun.
What do you need a...
Like, we've been through this already. You know what happened the last time.
It's not about what does he need a gun for. It's about what the fuck is a gun gonna do with him.
A and B, he didn't learn his fucking lesson last time. He was super aggro on her and locked her in a fucking vault.
And then she killed Pogo. And it was just like, so you went with a gun and then you approach her. She doesn't know who the hell you are. You're just like...
He hunted her to her house.
And she's like, reaching the back. He's like, if you're messing with me, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm so sorry. And it's just like...
And that was the curveball. I was like, what did you need the gun for and the attitude if you were just going to then
The
forgive
gun,
her?
like approaching her all
He's
like
like,
this.
hey.
Because it was for us, not him.
But it was...
I didn't want that.
There were a lot of scenes like that.
You don't just go, Vanya, watch her drive away. Your sister, who you know needs help because you didn't help her the last time, go bang on the car or something like, hey, Vanya, you're my sister, I know you. And then literally when she says, who are you to me? He goes, I was just returning this wallet. And then leaves. When you know the world is ending in a week.
Alright, so Luther was a bad character all the way around, dialogue and plot. So, number 2? Who's number 2?
Hold on, wait a second.
Diego.
What was the whole his body was farting thing that kept going on?
That was a number 5 thing.
Yeah.
No, it happened when they went in the elevator.
When they apparently...
He was just
And that's one of the other overall bad when I put it in. The jokes were awful.
They're doing fat people. I'm using fat people like this humor on him.
Mm-hmm.
So usually you have the bumbling, I break stuff,
And that was just so unnecessary.
And it's
body humor.
It's interesting that you say that.
So, okay, let's get to number 2 and why Diego's a fuck up. So, Diego was trash this whole season. First of all, the Kennedy thing came out of left field. Why was that the hill he wanted to die on? Can somebody please explain that to me?
Because he saw his dad in the picture there.
That don't mean shit.
Even before
But
that,
even before
he was
that,
still
he
like,
was
I
stuck
need to
on
save Kennedy.
I know
Now
what-
and then when Five found him, he was like, now you gotta get me out of here so I can save Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Five was like, we're not supposed to be changing anything, so I'm gonna leave you here until you get some goddamn sense.
Which was very fucking stupid.
I'm gonna put it like this. Diego is the only superhero in the family. And I'm using super very
And that's ironic because they're supposed to be superheroes.
Here's my
He's
issue.
the only one
give
that
him-
actively tries to save him.
Exactly, and they give him shit for it, and it's like, this is what y'all supposed to be doing.
Here's my
And his dad
issue.
literally said you have a hero complex.
Because of you!
The whole trail that he got back to, I don't know why I'm here, I'm stuck here, my brother and everything, I know what I need to do. I need to save Kennedy. And actually, number 5 was right to leave his ass.
No, he
there.
wasn't.
And I'll explain why.
At that moment, I understood it.
And
Because that was his only goal.
Let me explain
was
why.
to save
Because my
Kennedy.
thing is, he has been held up in that institution this whole time. There's no logic outside that out of that to say that he wouldn't be.
And he was put in
I'm sorry.
He was put in the asylum because he was stalking the person who killed Kennedy.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but this is where I got a break from y'all. You can't sit up here and talk about how number 5 is proactive in justifying his actions and want to tell people to rally people together and shit like that. And then he takes that action and he put his brother in danger. Because had it not been for Lila and had he not decided to try to break out, the Swedes would have killed him.
How would he have known the Swedes even existed?
He saw them when,
He did
what's his
first-
name?
When Hazel came and
Exactly.
got him, he saw the Swedes.
So he knew they were after his
Even though
family.
they knew they were after him.
He didn't know they were after the
They didn't know
entire
they were after the
bunch
entire
because,
family. As a matter of fact, that kept changing up throughout the show.
yeah, it was
because
the
later-
handler sending the pictures
Exactly. The only reason why Diego became a target later is because she was like, hey, I need you guys to go after him because he's now entwined with my daughter.
And they faked it. She made Lila steal one of his knives, and so that's why
So why was Lila in the asylum?
So watch over Diego.
Yeah, to spy on Diego.
So obviously
she knew that 5
that-
would be coming back for
That
them.
does not make sense. because if she knew 5 was coming back for them, then she knew that the Swedes were coming to get him.
She
No,
sent the
she didn't
Swedes.
know about the Swedes until they tried to
She
come
sent
out.
the Swedes.
Her mom
Her
sent
mom
the
sent
Swedes.
But Lila was
No,
under
the
the
mom didn't
impression.
send the Swedes.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
no.
No,
Yes,
they
she did.
She did.
Yeah, no,
The organization did.
Remember, she was overriding their packages.
She got put in Five's old position, and just like Five, she overrid the position. She sent the Swedes, but she led Lila to believe, oh, it's just gonna be a little bit of slap fight and nothing serious is gonna happen.
That's
then
why
she
Lila
was
was
like,
mad.
then she was like, hey, change of plans, keep Five alive, because the Swedes were gonna kill Five because
And
of her.
also, she wanted to kill the commission, and she knew that only 5 could do it.
Gotcha.
That's
So
why
she needed 5 alive until she could get to talk to him, and then get him to do what she needed him to do. What else was I saying? Oh yeah, why 5 left Diego in the asylum?
He was irrational. Diego was irrational.
He was just.
And 5 isn't.
No!
Yeah,
His whole...
Seriously?
No, hold on.
Are you fucking?
I
wait a
mean,
second,
out of
wait a
this
second.
whole thing.
So
I think,
five is logical, but also irrational.
Of course,
Yes.
but my whole thing with his plan was simple. Get everybody together and go home. He found
I really think we need to
He
skip
didn't
the.
even know how to go.
No, when he contacted old girl, what's her name, the head of the commission now.
Well, the first mission was to get everybody together.
Yeah.
the first mission was to get everybody together to figure out how it happened and to stop it.
What do you mean
And
how it happened? He can't control
They
the
didn't, they didn't know
They didn't-
how the end of the world
The
happened,
world was-
which was Vanya.
The world was colliding. He was like, I gotta open this portal. The only way I can save everybody is to throw everybody ass in there. Now, either we can sit here and try to figure it out, or we get our ass in that portal.
And so,
Let's do 3 and 4.
no, I'm not done with Diego.
Diego still got
My
some
thing
flavor.
is they kept making fun of him this entire season, and that moment when they were all confronting their dad and his stutter came back, he was like, last season he was just like, well, screw all of you, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and this season he was like, oh, I'm trying to like actually have a bond with my family members now, and they literally all just abandoned him in that
There
talk
has, to
with
be,
his
there
dad.
has to be dysfunction for the show to play out.
No, but like if you see the dad reeling into him, and you're not even gonna like defend your brother after that whole Team X thing,
And
what was
y'all-
it?
Team Zero.
Team Zero.
And especially when y'all supposed to hate him just as much as he do.
Well,
Right.
no, here's my thing. In that moment, they all reverted back to children.
But
They
exactly,
stopped-
with
they
his stutter
stopped-
and everything. But it's like you're not a child anymore, and then Luther just stands up and rips his shirt off. Look what you did to me.
Because and that was just a cry for attention. It's like, Daddy, I did everything for you. But if you look in that moment and all
They
that
all-
and their body language, they all start putting their heads down, start being quiet, start regressing back to being children.
Because they even said that when we get in there, we need to be a united front because we know how Dad is, blah blah blah, and it happened anyway. It was like,
and it was just like, so you see his whole stutter came back.
mhm.
It wasn't even like funny or ridiculous anymore. It was just sad, and I was like,
yeah.
And that thing from
Why?
Luke and the thing from number one was just an outburst. It was just like, what do I say? What do I say?
pathetic is what it was.
I did this for you, Dad.
But at the end of the day, Diego, like I said, had a hero complex. I didn't like the whole they try to recruit him to the organization, Time Bureau, whatever, Time organization.
That was just
Yeah,
a
the whole
random
reasoning
kid.
for that was because Lila was in love with him.
That was
And
Yeah, and so I didn't need another Umbrella Academy member involved in time stuff. Like that was, you know how I feel about time travel.
All right. time to go to number
Who's
3.
number 3?
Alex.
Al.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
here we go.
Okay.
You want to tag on this? Tag team
Are
on
you
this?
starting or?
We go around. Go.
All right.
You go first.
Okay, my biggest problem with Allison in season 3 season 2. I'm sorry, isn't necessarily Allison. So my issue is we all get sent back to 1960, whatever. And granted, some of them thought she was dead, but some of them were around when she was around. Like Klaus, who we getting into later. You know you in the 60s, and
In
you
the
know
South.
you have in the South, and you know you have a black sister, and you don't immediately think we gotta go scoop her because racism is everywhere.
It's real.
Thank you.
Like that really pissed me off.
And that
Especially with
Luther.
well, not Luther, because Luther thought she was dead.
Oh,
now
Klaus.
post Luther, yes, especially with Klaus, because he ran into her and they knew each other were alive, and after that, bye.
Yeah.
Like your
Well,
sister is not safe doing one of the highest.
But the thing was, also when he heard about the riot, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, Allison!" And he was the only one that was like, "Oh, she's black. I'm gonna go get my black sister." So he's the only one that actually ran to protect her or like get her out of harm's way. Also,
after he was done with his own shit, you know, he had to do.
no,
things
as soon as
first.
he heard about it, he ran.
No, he waited a while. Because he had to remember it. He had to
No, he
remember
heard
it.
about
No,
it.
he had to remember it.
when he met her husband in jail, and then he got out of jail, his first thing needs to be, I need to stay next to my sister.
No, he didn't know it was her husband until she
That's
saw
right.
the guy in the
That's
thing
right.
with his same tattoo. So then that's when she went to find
She
Ralph.
actually found him.
That's right. Sorry.
I do not like real things in fantasy elements. Racism and civil rights in a superhero time travel show.
Can I tag on
It
that?
is not going to work unless
You go
it is
hard.
it is
or
the
you
exact
don't
focus.
acknowledge it.
Civil rights should not be the background of a fantasy show.
Yeah.
It was a set design. It was a set piece.
And I was and
Right.
until you said that, I was gonna say I'm opposite of you. I don't like when they do timepieces and shit, and you blatantly put black people in a time period that we wasn't comfortable in, and then completely ignore
You
it.
use black paint as a prop. But keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah. So, of course, if you're gonna throw a black person back in the '60s, we have to address civil rights and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
That's fine. That was the hand that they dealt themselves. But at the end of the day, that wasn't the focus of the show. It was the focus of the show was superheroes and time travels and time bureau and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And civil rights. Yeah, it happened.
Mhm.
It was there.
Like
Well,
they used
it was-
Allison and her blackness as a prop.
Yeah,
And another
and it
thing-
only existed around her.
And
exactly like when it came to what's her, the Indian lady.
Lila.
When it came to Lila and Diego, it just didn't magically didn't exist.
Like Diego was walking in a party with a bunch of white rich people and nobody approached him.
And he's clearly Latino.
Even when Luther asked his boss to look up Allison, and he finds Allison, he makes no mention. He was like, "You messing with black girl?" Nothing. She ain't black.
whoever this real life gangster is or whatever, you know he had to be racist.
Exactly.
And if he tried to pass it off as I could see that they tried to pass it off as like, you like what you like, go ahead.
Mhm.
But it's just like, no.
But
so
do
this
we
is
really believe that guy in that time period was progressive that way?
with the career that he had. You really think he didn't use the N-word?
Which is my thing that this is where he wanted to find home, in a place where that would degrade the woman that he loves.
And as a sidebar, and tell me if I'm reaching, I also found it weird that after Luther found Allison, I was kind of offended as a monkey man that he just hung out in black places afterwards. He was going to the barbecue joints where it was nothing but black people eating barbecue, and it was like, this motherfucker's half monkey. I have feelings.
Well, I wasn't thinking about it that way.
I was, and I'm probably reaching,
Well,
because at this point I'm kind of fed up when I'm seeing this, and I'm like,
So-
I want to turn this shit off, but we got to talk about it next week.
At the end of the day, if we want to bring realism back into it, black communities are one of the most accepting communities. So if you're an outcast, that's where you're gonna go.
Exactly. So, and another thing, going to Alice is that
Allison.
whatever. I don't care. So,
Yeah.
so you don't want to change the course of the civil rights movement because you know where it's going. It's because, of course, you have firsthand knowledge with all this, which I call bullshit on some end. Because my thing is, if you have that chance to make a movement that to impact the movement in that great
Have a
way,
superpower that, and that's one of the things that irks me with time travel shit. Anyway, and you put us in it. Like, I'm gonna be real. One of us go back in time, and we got superpowers. The movement is it's a done deal. We winning that movement.
It's like, how are we doing this? Non-violence.
Like, plot literally kneecapped his character because she started talking this bullshit of, I earned everything off myself. I felt like I earned everything off my own 2 hands and didn't have to cheat and blah. And I'm like, your powers are a part of you. When you use your powers, you are doing it on your own.
I understand what they were doing with that because last season it showed that she used her powers in every way to get whatever she wanted, to become famous, to get her husband.
Which is a terrible juxtaposition.
So she wanted to just use her actions and her actual deeds.
That wasn't the time.
It wasn't. And her husband said that. And I think they tried to combat her husband with saying that by having her actually use her powers and showing him how she uses them.
Well, here's where that's called being hypocritical. Because you position yourself in a movement that you already know about to steer it where it needs to be.
Exactly. Have them play, small roles so that they didn't change anything big. So they all had the basic idea that they weren't supposed to do something huge except for Diego. They were just like, oh, well, we can't, be...
But you say that, but at the end of the day, they are all so self-centered that they wouldn't change history.
So here's my thing.
Besides Diego.
So here's my thing. So why are we ready to let Allison change the future?
You know why.
But when Diego tries to do it, we should just leave him in the...
He was trying to save JFK. That was the only thing he was trying to do.
Well, this is the only reason why I wasn't holding down with the JFK thing, because you didn't know emphatically that was what's going to save the future. Saving him would have pushed civil rights to a whole nother level and everything, but then it also showed the turn where he was saved and the war.
Yeah, the only one that knew that was number 5. That if JFK is saved, then.
But that wasn't what popped off the war out.
It was Diego that knew that because he was in the commission when he saw it.
No, so
that wasn't what popped off the war. Vanya popped off the war.
With the first episode, when number 5 was trying to scope out the situation, he's like, "What did we do?" And he looks at the paper. It's like, "Oh shit, it's World War III or whatever." And then he's like, "JFK." I think they might have alluded to JFK still being alive. I think he has some firsthand knowledge that there's some shit that we did that we don't need to do. So when he found Diego, he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to save the president." All right, you need to stay here.
I don't think 5 knew. I just thought he was just like, well, JFK dies in our time, so let's just leave it
and
that
he worked
way
for the Time
not
Bureau.
change anything.
Right. I mean, just common sense and also being the Time Bureau member.
Funny how you say that, because none of that shit matters.
Okay, so now, time to go to number 4. Who's number 4?
Klaus.
Okay.
Step back. Step back. I gotta take lead on this one.
Wait, hold on. Let me walk you in. I'm gonna walk you to the door.
Wait a minute. Klaus is
number
ahead
4.
of number 5.
Yeah, because he can commune with the dead. Because if anyone is connected to
we talked
someone,
about this last time.
yeah.
So I'm gonna walk you to that door right quick.
Mm-hmm.
So Klaus, I was cool with you in season 1. You need to find yourself, use the druggie and everything. You need to help. You need to cry for attention because Daddy was mean to you. I let that go season 1. Season 2, you go fucking duck. Because this shit got old real quick. Like hippie druggie Klaus, go.
Okay, so remember in season 1, my biggest complaint with him is I thought he was more privileged and self-centered than Luther.
Ooh.
And in season 2, he let it all the fuck out. Okay, I don't even know where to begin with him. If it wasn't for I'm pissed because 1, he had the easiest time in the past than everybody else. Nothing went wrong for him.
He got rich.
He got rich. He was powerful. Nothing went wrong for him other than, I'm tired of this. I want to do something else now. The only thing he had, that's what happened.
To be fair, that is what happened because Luther literally had to give some strings for some change.
And he was still
Not that I feel sorry for him.
And he was still
I
short
want to kind of like defend him a bit, but like I'm gonna let you finish.
In addition to that, I am so tired, and it's not even because I particularly like this character. The whole degenerating Ben shit got on my nerves. Because it was like, stop telling motherfuckers he isn't in the room. Stop. Why are you being this way to this dude?
That's your fucking brother.
Exactly. It was to the point where it was like, why do people like this character? I'm sorry, he was worse than Luther to me.
And my-
So much worse.
and you know
And the
what?
optics don't look
And-
like when Ben is the minority in that
And
situation.
exactly, and the second banana in that situation.
Wait a
The
second.
optics.
It's a little racist.
That's the point that I'm making. Cause that's what it was. No, I said that on purpose because that's what it was. That's a racist term because of that. And that's exactly what they did in this show. Ben doesn't, in season 1, they treated Ben like he didn't even really have a voice because he only talked sometimes. And to me, it kind of felt like he didn't speak in complete sentences. And while he does get to speak more in season 2, they treated him like a trope really bad. And it was all on Klaus's end. And even everybody else is like, well, is Klaus here? And
It's Ben here.
It's Ben here. And he's like, no, Ben's not here. And we don't even ever get a real reason for why he treats Ben like that.
Hey, you know the more fucked up part about it? Like, think about it in Ben's situation. Like, you have to live your rest of your existence attached to this overprivileged asshole.
Exactly.
And you can't even communicate with your family that you're still there. Like, he almost, like, as soon as he took over Klaus' body, the first thing he wanted to do was go talk to his fucking family.
And what pissed me off the most is when you find out, because I had said this in passing without knowing the logic of how Ben works, but like an episode before, I was like, when is Ben gonna go to heaven so he can stop dealing with that bullshit?
Right.
And then come to find out, this motherfucker should have been in heaven. I just thought
He just didn't move on.
yeah, like,
Because he wasn't ready to let go of his family.
and that pissed me off the most.
I don't want to get on this whole fucking privilege thing. You don't know when he wanted to come out or accept who he was. That could have been a process that it took upon itself, like him going through the army, where he had to find out who he was. And you wanted to force the issue.
And I'm so glad you saying all
You wanted to force the issue because you had a romantic entanglement with him in the future. Why won't you let him grow to become who the fuck he wanted to become? Let him go through what he needed to do to find himself. But you want to force him out in front of the most dangerous person in the most dangerous time period to do that to. You're going to just show up. I know you like guys. I know you're going to eventually fall in love with me. Fuck your dad. When in that time period, you could have did anything to him.
And he didn't do it in private. He did it in the what?
In the middle of the diner, in front of his blatantly homophobic uncle, and then you want to say, I love you. You know, stop trying to force him to come out when, yeah.
And we're going to touch on that more when we get to Vanya.
So you still trying to defend Klaus?
No, I was trying to defend his reasoning for trying to save Dave because he loved him and he doesn't want him to die in the war because he literally died in his arms.
I understand that, but after seeing all the bullshit with Ben, why do I need to feel
How do
And I was also trying to touch on why he would keep telling Ben to shut up is because Ben kept trying to make him gain some responsibility.
Okay, let's say that he wanted to save him from the war or whatever, which failed because he got pushed into the war efforts early.
Right.
Now. Okay, you're trying to save him from something that he has to go through these experiences. You were trying to alter a future the wrong way. If you could have met him in the army back then and you could have actually no, you couldn't do that.
I don't exactly know how time travel works in the show.
It's a little weird.
He just knew, all he knew was that Dave had enlisted after JFK got shot.
JFK was what made him enlist.
And so he was just like, well, I know that the world's going to end soon and JFK is going to get shot. I'm going to try to save the life of the person I love. I believe that's what his thought process was, to try and not have someone he cares about die. But he did go about it the wrong way.
And it's funny that you say that. You just put it together and gave another reason why that entire thing was stupid. The world is going to end and you damn sure ain't trying to save it. And you want to rescue this kid that's going to die when the world ends?
Oh.
No, it's not that he wasn't trying to save it, because at that time they had decided that they were going to go back to the future, right? And then just leave everything the way it was. So if what's going through his mind is that JFK is still going to die, let me try to save one person.
Which I want to talk about that more towards the end when we talk about them as a collective. But now going to
I was still on Klaus and why he was treating Ben so badly. Yes, it was wrong because, you know, Asian man, white man telling him he basically doesn't exist. And basically just not, I was defending the situation, not Klaus's actions, but it was because Ben kept trying to give him some responsibility because Klaus was getting all this attention and all these people expecting things from him and he couldn't handle it because growing up he was never the one anyone expected anything from him. So he just didn't want any of that responsibility, and it shows when they're trying to save Vanya in the FBI building, and he's just like, and he goes to Allison and Diego, he's like, you guys are better at this, you guys are the heroes, I'll just hang back here because I can't do it.
But it didn't make sense because he had so much power, and I'm not talking about his actual abilities, I'm talking about in that time period, he had legitimate power to where he can make a phone call and get what's called his husband out of jail.
He didn't make a phone call, he sent Ben in. He sent Ben in and he spooked the police officer.
Sorry, I'm thinking about somebody else. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
But
the point is, it still happened.
Right.
And what really, and another part about that too, what really irked me was they gave you a scene, this was early on, where although it was minor, he was supposed to get some real comeuppance and consequences for his actions, and then he got out of it. When they played poker because they needed to get a car. And, you know, I just shitted on you and now I'm expecting you to help me in this poker game. And that was supposed to be his comeuppance moment. I need to learn to stop shitting on Ben and work as a team.
He still got the car.
Yeah, he still got the car. He got out of it. He might have went to jail afterwards, but he got out of that too. Like, nothing changed. He didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
How did he get out of jail?
His co-followers, I believe, bailed him out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, powers-wise, because remember, this is a superhero show, he did some powerful stuff at the end of the last season. Never did it again this season.
Okay, time to go to number 5.
Yeah.
Who's number 5?
You know who number 5 is.
Oh, number 5. I'm gonna stay out of
Number
this.
5 is played by Aidan Gallagher, who is an old man in a 13-year-old's body.
We didn't need his real name.
He is the worst character on this entire show. Like, by bar none.
The only reason he gets away with it because he's the only kid on the cast.
Hey, number 5 says.
And his acting needs work.
His acting was phenomenal.
No, it was not.
He doesn't act like an old man in a young person's body. He acts like a.
His acting is repetitive. Like there are things, there are motions and shit that he does to
Tics.
Yeah, like he has certain tics or whatever when he's in, I guess, in the zone or whatever the fuck you talking about.
He's in his Timothy Chalamet.
And it's like you're not even trying to take this character to different levels. Like you're just doing the same thing where he's doing this shit. I'm like, just stand up like a fucking person.
Change your clothes. God damn.
And like
He was in the same outfit
for 2 seasons.
So was Vanya.
No, she just has a plethora of button downs. We'll get on her.
Yeah, 5. I don't think he's meant to act. He's supposed to act more grown up than the rest of them, but still in a childlike way because he never actually got to grow up properly. So
He did fuck a mannequin.
I'm
So
sorry.
she not wrong in that. She not wrong.
I'm sorry. I gotta speak on this.
Which explains his interactions with women in this film.
If I'm stuck in a wasteland and I need some,
Then you jack off. you don't fuck a mannequin. All I'm saying,
we are not kink shaming.
All I'm saying is, if our Hargreaves theory about the robot is true, he get it from his dad. That's all I'm saying.
So at the end of the day, I want to like number 5.
He was the only
I
grown
want
up.
to.
So
I
So
want
here's
to.
my thing. If he's the only active one, then why did he do stupid things? Why did he do things to purposely hamper their goal?
So
Like what?
So y'all want to disagree with me on the Diego shit, but I think it still counts.
Diego was a wild card.
He's kind of dumb when it comes to his interactions with the council. He knows this heifer is gonna betray him, and
She was legit.
you know what I'm talking about
She
with that.
betrayed them.
Yeah, later, but she gave him the time portal to go on.
And it had a time limit.
Yeah,
She fucked them over on purpose.
No,
He knew that. He
She
literally-
told them.
That's why he gave them a designated time. He's like, oh, we have 30 seconds.
No,
But
no,
she-
no.
When she gave him the suitcase, she was like, "You have 60 minutes," and he was like, "That wasn't the agreement." And she was like, "Tough titty."
And no-
That's why they got the time
They
limit.
actually had longer than that. And he went to them, he was like, we all need to meet
Does
here.
it matter how
Wait,
much?
wait, wait,
Does it matter?
Wait. Well, she said, we all need to meet here. And everybody else was like, we need to go fuck
Okay,
off.
okay. So let's get on that. So we all need to meet here. So how come you didn't make sure they all did that?
Because these were
Because
grown
he-
ass. Go ahead.
They're grown ass people.
But you know you're on time. No, I'm sorry. No.
So you-
I go to get you. I go to get you, and I tell you we need to be here at this time.
Okay.
I am
You
leaving
want to
with.
get home and everyone agrees that
I
together
am
it's
leaving.
fine.
I am leaving with you. I'm not gonna leave you behind to handle your shit. We are leaving now.
Who is holding the hand of grown ass people?
Not just that, but he tried that with Vanya.
You can't have that both ways.
Wait,
You can't rally them together and then be like, okay, we'll just run off and do whatever.
Wait. He went to them and was like, we all need to be in the alley at the same time. They were like, okay, we need to go have some closure with the people.
He went to some people.
Wait. We need to have closure.
He went to some people.
He went to people like Vanya and was like, Vanya, we need to roll.
And she
Vanya
just said, just let me say goodbye.
Vanya sparked up on him and was like, are you going to let me say goodbye or we're going to fight? And he was like, okay, Vanya.
And she was in her right to do that.
Okay.
But he was ready for
No,
it.
she wasn't. No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
We're going to get to
When it's
Vanya.
fuck 5.
No.
I understand why she did that.
That-
but my point is,
it doesn't make
but
any-
my point is, you can't be like, we need to be here at a certain time, and then go get someone and then fucking leave. That's stupid.
What are you talking about?
He went to get Vanya and then left.
Because she said she was only saying goodbye, and then she switched and said, "Oh,
Okay,
I'm
well, if
just gonna
she-
bring them with
Well,
me."
if she's saying that, teleport her to home, girl. Say bye, and then teleport to where they need to be.
Okay, so there's this little thing called having faith in people.
Not even that.
Trying to believe her when she said she's
Let-
gonna be
let-
here at X time.
let me
Because
say
if not,
something.
then everything's
If he had faith in them, he wouldn't be calling them stupid half the fucking
Wait a
time.
second. You acting like you can.
That's just siblings.
You act like you can just teleport to their exact position. He can't do that.
Then what's the point of having him there? He can't teleport to their exact position.
Not if you don't know where they
yeah,
are.
It has limits.
Yeah.
2 hours.
And he can only teleport a
So-
certain amount of time.
Well, then that leads me to my other thing. You were stuck in the apocalypse for 45 plus something years or whatever, and you never trained your power.
That was the reason why.
That's the whole point.
That's
He
why
didn't
he
know
was stuck
how.
on
And then when he spoke with Reginald, he was like, "Well, that's because you tried to jump the gun because you weren't that developed yet.
You see,
so
said you were-
try going back seconds instead of like years
Okay.
and decades."
I gotta say
That's
something. I call
bullshit.
I call bullshit on that too. That one conversation with your father switched it up on you, and you had all those years to train your.
No. Because remember, that's how he got caught in the first place. His dad was like, wait. In season 1,
You really trying to cape for this dude.
Let me. I'm giving you what's in the show.
Yeah, the
Season
show
1,
was-
his dad said, "Don't do it because you don't know how to do it."
And he did it anyway because
Exactly.
you're Andre motherfucker.
Because he's a 12-year-old kid. Of course he did it. So now he's stuck in the future apocalypse. He stays there until he's able to transition back. He doesn't want to make the jump again because he said, last time I did that, I got stuck in an apocalypse. But we're in the wait. Before you say anything, we're in Armageddon. We're all about to die. So my only issue is I can open a portal. I don't know where it's going to take us, but I got to open this portal. So we all jump in, even though I know I can't control my.
He didn't want to use his powers again because he was stuck in a wasteland in an apocalypse.
Right.
You have shit to lose. That's when you do experiment the most.
But the thing is, he doesn't know what will happen. So that's when he was actually like, oh, my dad
jumped
was right.
further in time.
And that's why he waited until he was in the commission where he had the resources to do the math.
You didn't know what.
And even then, he still got it wrong by a decimal.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it like this. It's time travel. Stop fucking with it.
So here's my biggest thing about 5, and I'll get more into it when we're done with all of them. But 5 is another reason why I am very careful with a certain type of media that I won't say here because he is that trope again.
Yeah, people saying they want him to be casted as Damian Wayne.
They're not gonna do a Robin. They will never do that.
It's exactly his character. Exactly why people want to see him as Damian Wayne.
And I'm so tired of that trope. And I'm not even talking about the little kid as an asshole trope. I'm talking about the asshole that's supposed to be smarter than everybody.
Everyone else in the room.
Yeah, and what really irks me is
Sherlock Holmes.
the house syndrome.
Yeah.
What really irks me is all of a sudden he can be a human when he needs people to do something, and he makes this speech like, "We have to do this because this will happen." But then before and after that, it's fuck you, fuck you, fuck
Well,
you. I'm the greatest.
even then, I don't even think that's sincere because I think he's just placating to them. He's like, "Ah, fuck it, I'm talking to them every way I could." Okay.
And
that's my thing. Like, you should. To get what you want, you have to know how to work the room, as it were. He does not know how to do that, and we're supposed to be on his side when no one placates to him because he came in talking about fuck you, fuck your mama, fuck everything you stand for. I need your help.
My favorite is when he go to Luther. He's like, "I will fucking kill you," and Luther's like, "Yeah, he will."
Yeah, it's like Luther was actually afraid.
Right.
Look at the size he is.
And honestly, that's not.
We have to remember he's the world's deadliest assassin.
Right.
Like-
And also, when he gets in the room with himself, there was that.
I'm
moment.
sorry, but
I didn't like that.
I didn't like it,
Yeah.
but I'm just like,
Well, I'll
so
say-
you're just gonna try and kill yourself.
I'll say this
You know
much.
how that's gonna end up.
When rational people hear we have to leave because we caused the apocalypse, you would expect some giddy up and go. But and this is what we've been talking about so far with their character defects. When they're so narcissistic, it's like, well, I need to go take care of something that in the past that should not matter, that you should not care about because you shouldn't have been there.
But half of that is not narcissism. Half of that is you came at motherfuckers real fast
That's what I'm gonna
and
say.
real spicy.
2 things. 1, because of the way you come at people. 2, rational people. Did you forget where you live? And what time period you live in?
That's true. Sorry.
And who your president is?
That's right.
Let's go
And
back.
what you're going through right now.
I feel like the only
And what you
person.
believe in.
Let's go back to
That's
the
what it's
let's go back to the Diego shit. I felt like if he had talked to him a different way, then that scene wouldn't have happened. Instead, he wanted to be an asshole, and he literally sentenced his brother to die.
Well,
Right. I felt like the only
instance-
person who he approached with care was Vanya.
Well, let's not pretend
And
like
he
Diego
only
was.
and he only did that because he was scared of mine.
I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
that was the only reason
Like he
why
had
he
to
did
do
that.
tracking the sound waves, and so he approached it like, "Hey."
And let me
I'm
and let me
not
tell you why. Because when Vanya stepped and was like, "Do something," he was like, "You got 10 minutes," and he let her go off and do. No, you should
If
be
you were
like,
so right,
you should feel like, I
So
beat
he
your
was ready
ass.
for it.
I would be cool. I would be up.
If
with
I'm 5, Vanya would have went back. We would have went back to the
I
past.
will agree with you if Vanya wouldn't have got taken out by a guy with the butt of a gun.
Oh, okay, but that happened after.
They didn't have me right there. You didn't know you could do that.
But wait a
But
minute.
I know that my sister blew up the moon, so
Well-
I'm not really gonna step there.
Well-
I mean, honestly, no, but he was ready for her. Wasn't it her that said, "Let me just say goodbye," and then he said, "You have 10 minutes."
yeah.
So she backed down first because she, you know,
She
apparently-
backed down because he gave her what she wanted.
No, she backed down because he did his thing with his fists and she did her thing with her fists. So
Oh, so he can control his powers now.
he's teleporting and he's the world's deadliest
He
assassin.
can control his teleporter.
I didn't know you could.
But he can only teleport at a certain amount of time.
I thought that was weird.
Teleport his hands.
Let's go on to number 6. Who's number?
Ben.
Oh, well,
Whatever.
yeah, Ben's cool.
The only issue I have with Ben is he was fucking weird once he got a body.
Yeah.
And that was contrived. Moving on.
What do you mean weird?
He was an asexual.
Fucking
What do you
weird.
mean?
Oh, I got you. Is this what a dick's supposed to feel like?
He had a body for the first time in years. Last time he wasn't actually fully developed, so he was his first time in an adult body,
Yeah.
which he could touch, and he was about to lose his virginity.
Yeah.
So
Boo-hoo-hoo.
That was contrived and weird.
Okay, let's go on.
And
He had-
the
he
one
had-
chick he liked was super fucking weird for real.
All right.
And I was about to say, you go, Ben. Then I was like,
Wait a
ugh.
minute.
Hold on.
Pull it back.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this right quick. Now, Klaus had a plethora of holes on that far, and you telling me
Holes in the house.
it was some holes in that house.
We don't know.
1960s.
I think they-
We don't know what their careers or anything like that. So let's
They
not
were
jump the gun
whores.
calling them whores.
I
How?
think the best way to describe it is WAP. Now,
But he was some WAD. Particularly David.
I got one gripe.
okay.
It's time travel related. He passed on as a ghost in the 1960s.
He went back.
no,
He's
that,
alive.
that was different because they went to a different future.
Yeah,
They had
it's not
already
the same
changed stuff
future.
in the 60s. They were born in 89.
Oh, so that's how we're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had already changed stuff
so
in the
I gotta know which time travel.
I mean, no, I can save your criticism. Ghosts can fucking grow up. That pissed me off.
Wait.
When you did,
He died
when
as a
he
kid.
died as a
He
kid.
died as a
And
child,
he'll grow-
but he
and
was an adult.
I questioned this last season. I was like, this motherfucker is grown. I thought he died as a kid. And y'all was like,
So how was
And now it's time to get to the next person. -1, Vanya.
-1, -5. All right.
First of all, I gotta say this about her.
do we want to be
I think we probably should put this in the good because they gave us what we asked for. We said last time that she should not have been in a heterosexual relationship.
so that
so here's my thing about that.
let's talk about that.
First of all-
we discussed this and that's very problematic.
Now,
First of all, this when as soon as they showed where she was, I saw her story coming from a mile away. As soon as I saw her, like she gets picked up, I have amnesia. I was like, why she gonna fuck the wife? I called it episode 1.
who was it gonna be? Harlan or the dad?
I was like, she gonna fuck that wife.
And
So here's my thing about that.
Go for it.
That should have been season 1. And I have a question. We can finally get to it now. We can finally get to my biggest criticism of Umbrella Academy as a whole. And a question. Is this show supposed to be progressive?
I don't know.
Well, I think because of her being with Leonard season 1 and then her being with the wife season 2, it's not just showing it as like, oh, you're either gay or you're straight. It's just sexuality is a spectrum. So it wasn't just showing.
What's
So,
No, it's because we already
Because she-
established that she is attracted to men.
So, to piggyback off of what they said, that wife raped her. Because she has no idea who she was, and she took advantage of that.
Okay. Well, yes, she did
Fucking
take
rape.
No, she did take advantage of her situation.
Or is this coercion?
It's rape. It's rape.
No, Vanya's feelings were entirely.
She doesn't know who the fuck she is.
Okay, but you still are attracted to who
And
you're attracted to.
homegirl literally
You
said,
still-
"You don't remember who you are? Well, let's make some new memories." If that ain't a pickup line, I don't know what is.
If the dad said that,
If the dad said that, y'all would be crying rape all day.
So let me break it down. Let me break it down.
Wow, we make some memories, man.
I'm not saying it wasn't, you
Because
know,
if he had
I'm
said
not
that
saying it wasn't wrong.
in that
I'm just
shit
saying-
kicker voice, he would have been a Raven.
I'm not saying it wasn't wrong. I'm just saying Vanya's attraction to the wife was to Missy, Sissy? Sissy? was entirely Vanya.
We know the aggressor.
Vanya's choice to sleep with her was entirely Vanya's. Yes, she didn't know who she was or her background.
Well,
But she was still attracted to Sissy, and she still wanted to be with Sissy. You're saying that if she had a family somewhere, Sissy took advantage of her situation.
Yes.
Yes, she took advantage of her situation, but again, the choice to be with Miss Sissy was entirely hers.
No. Let me fire back.
She still
Let me fire back.
decided to engage in that relationship.
Let me fire back. Had they introduced this in season 1 that her sexuality was fluid, that would make sense. Because hold on, let me explain. Because throughout the first season, it's just been established that she was just heterosexual. Now, I'm not saying that she couldn't have eventually changed and stuff like that, but you've already set the stage. Now, it's not like
it's not. No, just because she's attracted to a man does not mean she is heterosexual.
Well, granted, she might at one point been interested in women. I'm not saying that she wasn't, but it would have been nice to have been featured that in season 1.
I understand what you're
Because
saying.
right now it's just like I've got amnesia.
And here's
It's
the
like
thing.
if I
all of this shit boils down to the fact that Ellen Page should not have been the person to play this.
but essentially it's like this. If I hit my head on the curb, I wake up and now I like dick. It's that's what they're kind of saying.
Well, what actually happened by using the actual show, she got amnesia, clean slate. She formed an attachment with the first person that she met.
Nightingale syndrome.
And I have an issue with that.
I understood. Well, from my understanding, what they were trying to do is, they don't need to always put sexuality at the forefront of everything. Why can't we just let these, like with Klaus, we didn't know he was gay at first. It wasn't explicitly.
Well,
Stop.
Here.
It wasn't.
Klaus is the loudest
Let me
one.
It wasn't explicitly stated until he went back in time and said, "Oh, I fell in love, and his name was Dave." It wasn't explicitly stated until that moment.
Wait. So this is why I have an issue with that. Because I can understand that you have this attachment, that you fell in love with her for whatever reason. Okay, now you like her. But the fact that you formed this attachment so hard, this is what made it did not make sense. So now you fall in love with Missy and Sissy, whatever. Now you want to have sex with her. That's cool. But to the fact that you wanted to uproot her entire
life.
family
From this time.
Well, from what I remember, it was Sissy's idea first.
No, it was
to
not.
leave.
Yeah.
It was Sissy's idea to leave, and I thought that's what enabled Vanya to be like, "Oh, I can just take them with me. They don't want to be with him anymore."
Well, and that's the funny part, because they manifested this abuse out of nowhere. Because it was like, okay, now I'm on the farm, and now since Vanya's been here, this dad who's been nothing but welcoming and opening to this stranger.
Like, granted, every now and then he'll get drunk at the club and she.
And that was another thing. That was dicey because they tried to make it seem like
They shat on him.
They tried to make it seem like he was just this bad husband that was going out, and instead of working, he
Like
was
Leonard's
drinking.
father.
no one was saying like a bad husband or a bad father.
That's how
was.
it came on.
I didn't feel. Well, it felt like as the story progressed and we got more of an insight into the family dynamic, the wife was not happy with him,
No.
and he didn't understand the child.
But no, it was like this. And for that time,
He didn't understand.
for
how
that time period, it makes
period.
sense.
And so she was just like, well, if Vanya, nannying him, that gives me some time.
But
So
hold on, 2 seconds. What they were saying was like, from our perspective, okay, now that Vanya's here, this guy's a piece of shit, and he's driving her to Vanya. Sorry.
So let me put it to you like this: when they kill certain characters off in TV shows, there's a certain is it pathos or something like that they want you to either latch on to or feel or whatnot. When he got shot at the end in that episode, did you feel bad for him? Because they said his character on
Okay,
that trajectory.
they did, but I thought that was just how they were developing the story of the family dynamic. Wait, let me finish. Because they brought Vanya there to kind of be as a nanny to Harlan to take some of the pressure off the wife because the husband did not understand Harlan. So he didn't understand the child, and so she's just like, well, I'm glad you're here because he doesn't understand, and if I just leave and take Harlan with me, I will try to, he'll have his brother come and catch us, and he'll just send Harlan away.
So,
And that's what I was getting from
to
it.
piggyback off of what they are saying and how framing matters, the first few scenes that we see the father in, he is said to be going to work, and then the next time we see him, he is at a strip club.
And
the implication is they're trying to say that he's cheating on her,
or that he's not going to work like he said.
No, because he was there when he was trying to pitch his job to the club owner.
But the optics.
it's the optics. If I come in the room and my clothes are bloody and I have a bloody paper bag and a knife,
I'm not
you're
saying
going to
that
assume
it
something.
I'm
You are
not
going
saying it doesn't
to.
look bad.
Not
I'm
just
just
that.
saying what I was getting from it. This is what they were trying to do.
Not just that. When
They
he first gets introduced to the family and Anya meets them,
Vanya.
We don't care.
and they meet her. He is open. He is welcoming. He is he shows hospitality and everything. Does he at once
Like he's
try
not taking making advance on her.
exactly. That's what I was getting at. He doesn't try to make it. He tries to.
In addition to that, they try to play him up, this thing with his son. And when you first see him, all that stuff you were talking about, like he loves his son. He cares for his son.
And not just that. And what they do is that they show you that he has a fault. Yeah, he goes out and he's not cheating. He's working and he drinks a little bit. And he's like, yeah, we gotta go pick him up every now and then. Like, that is a fault. And if she's married to him, she already knows his faults and stuff. And like, I'm pretty sure she has her faults and stuff
But you
too.
also have to think of the time period when you're a woman. You have to, go with what your options
She didn't
are.
have to marry him.
No.
In
She's
the 60s,
right about
you
that.
have to go with your options because there are certain things expected of you as a woman.
And they set her up that way because she was like, I was always too shy for my own good. When me and my sister or girlfriend or whatever, we was going somewhere and I didn't know that I was being set up on a date. She went with him because that old Family Guy skit is either me or nobody else.
Because
At the end of the day, Vanya drove a wedge in that family, and I didn't like it.
And not only that, but she also was driving a wedge to her own family.
In not being of that orientation, I just wonder if that's offensive to people in the LGBT community that a person who in season 1, and here's my thing, Ellen Page in the show in season 1 doesn't make it a secret that in real life she is gay. They don't even try to make her look different from that. It's just Ellen Page
Like
is
she
Ellen
carries
Page.
that thing, and that's one of the other problems. Like she carries that thing. I'm trying to figure out the word for it.
Demeanor.
It's not demeanor because that's more or less how your face looks, but that too.
Body
None of your vibe.
It's demeanor.
It's so like if I'm known for dressing in outlandish colors in real life, if I'm supposed to be an actor, I don't dress like that in all of my roles
But
that
I
I
don't
do
talk
on
that
TV.
up to Ellen Page. I talk that up to the casting director.
Oh no, we not dogging her.
We're not dogging Ellen Page. The casting should have not been fucking lazy and been like.
Well, I talked about, I think I said this last time, that Vanya was supposed to be the bland one. She was just supposed to be ordinary, just mediocre. And so she, because that's what she'd been for the entirety of season 1. They weren't about to change that up with making her wear, something brighter, something crazy.
But
So
she has
then
amnesia.
Exactly.
But
And she still
The
carries
whole
that
point
same.
is that Vanya is still bland.
So
So it didn't break through the amnesia.
I know who I am,
You're talking,
but I know I don't like color. Where's the plan? knowing Bartholomew here, you know how he is. You know how he is. You know how he dressed. You can guess what his orientation is. If next month we know that he got into a car accident and he got amnesia, if next month he has a different orientation, and let's say this is a TV show, my question is, would the LGBT community find that offensive, that the only way for him to express, to be gay, so to speak, in a show is for him to lose his memory of who he was before?
And I go back to saying, no one was saying we know her exact orientation.
Which is why I said,
just like when,
and you're not wrong.
because like you say, oh yeah, well she was with Leonard last season and now she's in love with Sissy. No one is to say that her sexuality changed from season to season. It could have been the same. She could have been pansexual. She could have been bi.
And that's all true. But but it's the optics.
Exactly.
Okay.
You set us up. You set us up that this character, for whatever reason, likes men, even though everybody can look at her and say, "No, you don't."
So what if we found out in season 1 that she was actually like kind of attracted to that first position violin player?
Stop assuming.
I think the issue that we have, well, it's not even that. I think the issue that I have, especially with Bonnie's character, is that she keeps forming these strong attachments to people that she's only known for a short time.
And you said something.
Like when she met Leonard, she only knew Leonard for like a couple of weeks, but she was ready to ride or die for him.
But he was the only person showing her attention, basically.
So they did the exact same thing in season 2.
No, Missy was the first person she saw, and she was immediately
It was the husband who was the first person she saw.
No, it was Sissy and
Sissy
Harlan.
Okay.
It was Sissy and Harlan. They hit her with the car, and they took her in immediately. So yeah, and she was like, well, you know, we'll give you a place to stay. We'll give you something to do. I feel like I'm going in circles.
No.
We get it.
Yeah,
It's just the way that the show was
exactly.
Right.
And the fact that a lot of people don't think
It's like
three-dimensional.
It's like what we were saying with the civil rights thing. It was like race did not matter at all in the show until season 2. Like
The show's so goddamn stupid.
like black people weren't catching until season 2.
And
Like
that,
she didn't face discrimination until
Like
season
it's
2.
2020. That was in 2019.
and that's why I asked: is this show supposed to be progressive?
They're throwing you breadcrumbs.
because
This is what the CW does.
Yeah.
They throw you little breadcrumbs here and there every now and then.
you said something that I'm glad that you said. You assumed. Here's my thing. In a TV show where they give you a limited amount of time to do things, within a limited episode number of seasons, the entire point of any television show, I would say, outside of maybe game shows, is you assume something until they tell you something else. And when you are told that other thing, it has to make sense.
Because my thing is, we didn't. They decided to focus on her sexuality, and then they told us to join along for the ride when they made this curveball.
And
They knew with casting Ellen Page and not changing up her overall look and attire and whatnot, that was going to be a question, especially when they paired her up with Leonard.
Okay.
And
just
shit went down the way it did.
Just one thing before you get into what you're gonna say. My issue with it and why it's so confusing to me is because they went all in on Klaus and his sexuality, but they held back, but they didn't give that, and I'm talking about the producers. They didn't just make Ellen Page, even if they just said it, if she just said that she was attracted to more than just men in season 1, they didn't bother with that with her character. And granted, there could be several reasons why. But then when you get into season 2, I wonder, so did those reasons go out the window?
Did she make a fuss about it? Did fans make a fuss about it?
And that's my thing, because I would assume that maybe in season 1 she was like, well, I don't want to focus on my sexuality as an actor. So what changed between season 1 and season 2? Or in season 1, and this is why I think it's weird, if they went this way, if they went this way, and it's like Ellen Page she's your star. Let's be real.
Her name shows up first.
Her name shows up first. I don't know these other people.
Exactly.
So you mean you didn't give Ellen Page, and I'm not saying carte blanche, but you didn't give her the autonomy to be a gay character in season 1, and that's what's weird to me.
Okay, I see what you're saying, that because she was with Leonard season 1, you assume that she was straight,
Mm-hmm.
and then because she's with Sissy in season 2, you assume that she's gay.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is because she was with Leonard in season 1 and
Mm-hmm.
she's with Sissy in season 2, I'm assuming that because she was attracted to both of these characters, she is not gay and she's not straight. She's, sexuality is a spectrum. She's bi, pan, poly.
Whatever. Yeah.
Which is
fine, and that's great.
Here's the thing, you throw the amnesia bullshit in there.
Exactly,
Okay.
and the show did that.
She never told us what she was. The show is telling us what she is.
And that,
I'll put it like this. Even though I said CW, White Canary did it better. She was with Oliver Queen.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we can assume, she was a straight character, straight woman.
Mm-hmm.
She got on that island, almost died. League of Assassins saved her. Nissa basically trained her, and she was under her wing. She fell in love with Nissa. She didn't have amnesia. She was like, this woman saved my life. Blah blah blah. I have a formed an attachment with her. Now this is what I'm riding with. And that it makes sense.
And that's why I mentioned before this whole concept of Nightingale syndrome. Nightingale syndrome is that when somebody saves your life, you form a bond or attraction with them. You see it happen. It happened a lot in World War II, and when soldiers would come back and their nurses would save their life, they would fall in love with them because it's like, this woman saved my life. You form an attachment with the person who saved you. You see it with a lot of superheroes as well. So. And that's why it's another weird thing, because now you're saying, is she only gay because this woman saved her life?
or is she gay because of the amnesia?
Or is she gay because she was gay?
Right.
But one
I can see
more,
how you guys
or
came to
bisexual or whatever.
or pan.
orientation.
But
Or pan.
one more thing about it. After she got her memories back, there were no, for lack of a better phrase, love scenes. No, love scenes between her and Sissy. She still wanted Sissy to come to the future, and Sissy was like, nah, pimpin', we gotta stay here. But there was no goodbye kiss. There was no loving embrace. So, did she go back? Does she still like women? So you see what I'm saying?
Right, it's because to me, I'm just like, well, we don't need it because we've seen it already. We know she's in love with Missy. We know she's attracted to Missy. There doesn't need to be a grand romantic.
But again, is she really like that?
But the show, you see what the show did?
I see it.
I give you back your memories, but we're not gonna touch each other anymore.
She jeopardized going back to the future to go get this woman from her house and uproot her and everything.
I see.
Then, end of the show, I get my memories back. All right, bye.
she still went back. Well, it was for Harlem, but she still called out to Sissy first when what's her name? Lila did her power.
Mm-hmm.
So she still called out to Missy first to make sure.
And she told her to go check on Harlan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you see what I'm trying to say, and I see what you guys are saying.
I get what you're saying. It's just, I find it weird that, like, I met the love of my life in 1963 or whatever, and I gotta go back to the present. And we did all that bullshit with the Times Bureau and shit. We don't embrace. We don't
There's no
even
hand holding.
even Diego's conclusion with Lila was like, I fucking love that girl. Like, we didn't get nothing. We didn't get nothing. And that's my thing, and I understand what you're saying because you're right. But the show
told us that they are in love and we should be rooting for them. And then
under nefarious circumstances. I'm sorry, the amnesia.
It's
Hell,
true.
let's look at other relationships like Alice. I don't give a damn what her name is. and
She went back and wrote a note.
Exactly.
All right, you a 4-page letter.
Everybody who had a relationship in the past had closure except for Onion. Now let's
She went back to the farm. She took her powers back and she skedaddled.
Exactly. She was like, give me that. And she was
The
like,
thing is, she didn't take her powers back because you still got them.
Yeah,
First of all, I got questions. Let's go be in the overall.
I just found it interesting because it was like, so you can still come to the future with us, and we can't do that. Yeah, you're right. We can't. So what are you gonna do? We're probably gonna go. You go to California. That's how she said. When you go to California and you live your life, and I'm like,
You go, girl.
you not gonna slide your girl down before y'all leave because this is it. Or are you gonna pull a Captain America and
hold on.
I'm gonna go back and.
You just broke up a marriage, and now you gonna throw the deuces around? Bitch. All right, so now since we've done the main dishes, let's go to the sides and on the sides. So the side characters who brought the show down or whatever. So what do you think?
you go first?
The side characters I didn't like were the Swedes.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
did not like the Swedes.
So,
And
as
let's do
a juxtaposition to Hazel and Cha-Cha, I was like, what the fuck is this show doing? They were caustic to me in every 5 senses.
Like-
all of them. They tasted bad. They smelled bad. And I was like, get them the fuck out of here.
Like,
Like,
I've never seen nasty white man so fucking literal. And it was 3 of them.
So you asked if this show is progressive. They fridged a woman.
They sure did.
They put a woman body in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
So no. Goldfish Man, don't like. I don't know what that was.
That was
fucking.
I know they
That
were
was
pulling
weird.
a character from the comic, and I just don't. I'm not.
That was we have $5 left in the special effect budget. Let's just use it.
Yeah, and you actually brought a memory back. I'm gonna say it real quick. When Five went to that place to go kill the board members, what was that scene with him in the vending machine?
That was I can explain that one.
What was that?
Okay.
That was everything coming to a head. That was him trying to figure out how to leave, him dealing with his family, him dealing with the bullshit, with like all the stuff coming at that one moment.
And he
You
finally
got-
just
really
exploded.
came for this,
He just wanted a chocolate bar, and
He
he
was
just
like, I can't even have this simple fucking
So
thing.
this show has a bad way of doing that because I actually had a question about an earlier scene and somebody cleared it up for me already when they show but they don't tell. I know that they say that you're not supposed to really do that, but this show needs to tell. Because there was a scene where Luther and Allison embraced, all the black people disappeared. And then when they let go, they all came back. And I was like, was that a glitch?
no. That wasn't just all the black people. Everybody disappeared.
There was only black people there.
Yeah, they at the barbecue.
But I had to be explained that no, that was just in their mind. They just pushed everybody. That was part of his mind. They pushed everybody else.
Because when we're together, it's like no one's ever.
Exactly.
Except when we're in the racist in 1960.
We talked about the handler. She did her thing.
You like the handler,
She did her thing.
did the Swedes.
Yeah.
Lila, I did like
I
her
think
story.
we're probably a little
We're
conflicted on
like,
that.
yeah. Because I don't necessarily have a problem with her. But I did think that they made her character a bit erratic. But I didn't necessarily have a problem with her.
Let's get to the dad. Because the whole I'm an alien.
So we just gonna breeze over.
That made me just.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I literally just shut my laptop off and went to go take a shit.
You can't just speed past that like that didn't happen.
And this motherfucker took his face off to go kill a room full of people.
Like, granted, that explains him not aging. Bravo, you answered that question from season 1. Okay, now I got another one.
There was also that ending scene where he knows who the Umbrella Academy is.
Because he met them in the
Because
past.
he met them in the past, so he sees them, and I think what they did is they made him deliberately do things differently, because he's like, I don't even like these people. So I'm gonna just get a whole new set
Some
of
new
people.
kids.
Or
Right.
on the other hand, wow, I fucked that up.
Let's make sure I don't do that.
No.
Right, so he deliberately does not go to these specific kids and pursues other ones instead.
I believe it was that what killed it is the round table discussion. And he's like, man, y'all some grown ass bitches.
I don't take notes. What's your name again?
Because like the only person he wanted to talk to
Anya.
was number 5 because he's like, you the only adult in the group.
Yeah, and so that's weird. Still got more questions.
Was he a fish?
He was an
It
alien.
was like a squiddish alien.
I think he was an alien because, he had his whole project on the moon that the shadow government was funding. So
Yeah. So
I'm
that's what I
guessing
said.
he had some aliens.
That's what I said. I don't know what the show is
Did
trying
y'all
to
notice
be.
one of the new kids at the very end was a box?
I said that.
Like it was a literal fucking box.
Green box. A green
I'm
box.
like, why can't you just be normal?
That's what I was
Sorry,
thinking
what?
about.
You
So-
said there
so
was.
at
You
the-
said there was a glowing box.
I said there was a glowing box, and you said you didn't see the glowing box. And I was like, no, there was definitely a box.
There's some shit about the Sparrow Academy that I gotta tell y'all when this goes off because
books.
yeah, because after the research that I did, I'm like, I wonder how they're gonna pull this off. But one of the kids, he was in the cut because Christian had to rewind it for me. And he was like, why is there a Lego box there? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's the budget.
But all in all, this show had its ups and mostly downs. And as we've seen through the progression of it, hopefully season 3 will get better. Because I want that new team to beat the shit
I'm
out of
done.
them.
You said that Klaus is getting a spinoff.
Yeah, I heard that.
What?
Getting a spinoff.
Him?
Klaus.
Of all people.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
I'm not watching that, and I'm not watching
No,
season 3.
I'm not
I
watching
mean
this.
it.
I'm not
I'm
watching. I'm
I
not
mean
watching
it
this
this time.
Avengers.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
Like I said,
We'll see where it goes.
like I said, it was a lot of shit that was coming out of this toilet. Maybe you guys, some stuff in there that you guys hated more than us. Maybe some stuff in there that you found actually salvageable. Good luck with that. And actually put it in the bottom if you can so we tell you how wrong you are. But you know what? We got plenty of other stuff to review. Like next week we're reviewing, that. And the week after that we're talking about, that too. But you know, like I said, we try to keep it real with you. And this one, let's give horrible. Go quick around the room grades.
Ooh, D.
Letter D.
Oh, E+.
We are in America.
F for fuck you.
C minus.
F for fuck you. No. I'll give it a D. I'll give it a solid D.
I give it around C, honestly.
But you know what? If you thought it was better, if you thought this was some great shit, you know what? You're wrong. But, like and subscribe. Thank you guys for joining us on this ride. But until next time, God, I can't believe I wasted time on this. Like I could have been watching anything else.